And I'm back for number 8. Number 8 on my 2012 preseason NFL ranking countdown is the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, here's another team that just surprised a lot of people in the NFL, fan-wise, analyst-wise, just surprised people, period. This team was led by a rookie QB and a rookie receiver, and were able to make the playoffs in a division that is loaded with talent. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. The Bengals had to see these teams twice, fell to both of these teams twice, and still made the postseason. The AFC North put 3 teams into the playoffs. For a team to be that young and for a team to really not have that much quote-unquote star power, they did a tremendous job last season. The rookie QB that I speak of is Andy Dalton, second-round pick out of TCU. And you're thinking, how did they even make it as far as they did with such a green QB? Green, ladies and gentlemen, as in A.J. Green, rookie receiver out of Georgia. Now, this is a team that basically was looking to start fresh and rebuild from the Carson Palmer era, which ended very ugly, from the Chad Johnson era, who I still say is one of the most overrated receivers walking in the NFL today, even though he's not in the NFL. I'm still mad about how he burned me in the 2008 season fantasy-wise, but he still hasn't done anything since his 07 campaign. They're moving forward from those two, from the T.O. experiment. They were just looking to start anew. However, not only did they start anew, they ended up winning, 10 games last season? With that team, with that youth movement. And it's crazy because offensively, they were only 20th in the league, but they had the 7th ranked defense. A defense full of, how you would say, I wouldn't say nobodies, because you're not in the NFL if you're a nobody, but no name, so to speak, a no-name defense. Because you look at in the AFC North, you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, you can name James Harrison and Troy Polamalu. You look at the Ravens and Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. You look at those big names on those teams per se. Can you name 2, 3, 4 defensive stars for the Cincinnati Bengals? If you're not a Bengals fan, if you're not an AFC North fan, you really can't. But they did a tremendous job. They lost Jonathan Joseph, one of their top corners, and were still able to succeed in that secondary. That defense pretty much helped Andy Dalton grow into not even say a serviceable QB, but a pretty good one. And it doesn't hurt that basically he's employed the Matthew Stafford game plan of, hey, go deep, I'm going to chuck it to you. And it doesn't hurt to have a receiver like A.J. Green that can go and get these passes. So they have quite the nucleus with Andy Dalton and A.J. Green being the QB wide receiver of the future for the Bengals. The future's looking very bright. Marvin Lewis's head was being called for on a platter because of how bad this Bengals franchise has been since he's taken over. They've only had one playoff appearance prior to the 2011 season, and that's when Carson Palmer hurt his knee against the Steelers, and he really hadn't been the same since. But the Bengals have not been that good since the 2005 season. Now all of a sudden, Marvin Lewis has a team that believes in him, that respects him, that trusts him. And they showed that love and trust back by having a 10-win season and making it into the postseason. They have a lot to look forward to. The question marks on that team, the running game. Cedric Benson, is no longer there. He is now a Green Bay Packer, so they're going to have a running back step up for them. They got rid of Jordan Shipley, which shocked me, but they believe they have somebody that can take his spot and be a little bit more to that team than what Shipley can offer. Jermaine Gresham has to stay healthy because that's a big target for Andy Dalton to have. So offensively, they just have to have more continuity in the running game and be able to generate more offense to not have that defense be the linchpin to keep that team going as far as having wins week in and week out. They have the talent offensively. They just get a good running back to really just pound the ball like Cedric Benson was. They have a chance. Defensively, stay doing what they do. They have Dre Kirkpatrick, who they picked up from Alabama, but he's got a knee problem. He hasn't seen any action, so they're hoping he can get healthy and he can contribute to that secondary. Because with guys like Leon Hall, he has to have somebody compliment him now that Jonathan Joseph is out. Nate Clements, who was garbage for the 49ers, was actually pretty serviceable for the Bengals. Ray Malaluga, you look at Keith Rivers. Matter of fact, I'm not thinking Keith Rivers is even with the Bengals. So I can omit his name. But Ray Malaluga, they have a no-name front four. That's pretty good. Obviously, if they went 7th in the league in defense. But the main thing is, I think they have to have continuity in the running game, and the biggest hurdle that they do have, the most significant, the major hurdle that they have, is actually competing in a division that has the Steelers and the Ravens, and they got to see them 4 times total. They have another team in that division, but really? The main competition is they're looking up at their competition. Steelers, 6 rings. Ravens, Super Bowl ring. Bengals, 2 Super Bowl appearances, but no ring. They got to deal with the Steelers week in and week out. They have to deal with the Ravens week in and week out. 2 Steelers, 2 Ravens games. That's 4 games that they have to show and prove that they are willing and ready and able to compete in that division. Otherwise, just keep being the whipping boy for Pittsburgh and Baltimore. But if they can surprise a couple teams. Matter of fact, let me apologize to any Bengals fan watching this, because they actually did make the postseason a couple seasons prior. They actually won the division. They actually swept their division. I totally apologize. They went 6-0 in that division a couple seasons ago, and they actually won that division. They just got revised by the Jets. Matter of fact, I think it was the 09 season. Was it the 09 season? I think it was the 09. Matter of fact, it was the 09 season. It was the 09 season they won the division. So I apologize to any Bengals fan watching this. I'm doing this off the cuff. I don't have any notes on me, so my memory had to kick in. So I sincerely apologize. But they have to beat the Ravens and beat the Steelers consistently, or at least split with them consistently, to get any kind of respect in that division that is pretty much run by the Ravens and the Steelers. They do that, they will be well respected, more respected, but they are on their way. Andy Dalton, AJ Green, on their way. That no-name defense, on their way. They just got to deal with 2 teams that can keep them out of the postseason year in and year out. So, having said that, they are my number 8 team. I will be back with number 9. Till then, keep reading my blog.